Head coach Corey Baldwin joins us here on the Afternoon Blitz. Coach, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great after this weekend.
I tell you what, you guys went on a pretty interesting run. I was looking back at how you guys got there the last weekend of the season. You guys weren't even sure if you were going to get a home game in the conference tournament, and you end up winning it over at the College of Coastal Georgia.
Oh, it was a roller coaster, emotionally the last 2 weeks of the season. Starting that with 2 weeks left, all right, we have a chance to win and host the whole thing. Into that week, okay, we no longer have that chance. We can finish second. We lose one more the next week, and we go, all right, now we're either third or sixth going into the last game of the year against Metro, who, if they would have beat us, would have hosted. And, just everything flopped around when we beat them, and I think it really kind of changed momentum for us for sure.
And you talked about, we had you on before the conference tournament started, talking about the benefits of having, if you couldn't host it, Coastal having it in terms of travel. And I got to tell you, Swamp Fox Nation showed up for you every night over there. They a huge crowd for you guys.
Oh man, they were a true sixth man for us. I mean, they were great. We had the faithful who had been with us all year that made the journey, and then there were even some people who had kind of jumped on since it was a playoff, semifinal, and then when you're hosting, when you're in the finals and it's only an hour away, all of a sudden some other new fans popped up, that jumped on, and it made for a great crowd.
We'll talk about that as a coach. As you're in a young program in terms of history and tradition, and then when you get on a run and to see the folks kind of jump behind you like that coming down the stretch, I would imagine makes you feel good.
Oh, it was great. I mean, just when we walked out, we had gotten there probably 5:30, 2 hours before tip, and I was in the locker room up until we walked out to warm up. And when I walked out, it was just already chaos in there. They had pretty much quit letting people in, and you just saw all those fans, from both teams. Of course, Coastal had a great fan base there as well. But just seeing both, teams support just packed it out, and just seeing all those Waycross people standing as the team came out right at the beginning, you knew it was going to be a special night, no matter what the score was.
And it came out in your favor, Coach. Talk about just getting here in year number one that you were eligible for the postseason. We talked with you last time about setting the bar, and you were talking about, well, we've averaged 20 wins a year. Well, hey, you're 1 for 1 in the postseason in terms of winning the championship.
Yeah, we may need to just close the program down after this year. I don't know. I mean, your goal, I think, is to, like I said, want to set as high as we could. I don't know if our goal was to win it this year and to go to Hutch, but I just don't know if I ever really thought it would truly happen until we, were beat Metro that night, and then you're like, it's just one game, and it was a team that Coastal had beaten us twice, and we knew it was going to be tough, but in the same manner, they had beaten us twice, and we knew we were due against them. And you're sitting there that night before going, man, this could really happen now,
Talk about now when you got there at the end of the game and they handed you the championship trophy. What was that like?
That was nice. I don't know if words can describe it, but it was nice. Again, being able to do it, I think anywhere would be great, but having it with all the fans there and the players just were so excited and knew that not only had they set a goal, but they had reached a goal. And just all the excitement that goes with all those things, plus having all your fans right there, I think really made it about as enjoyable as it could be.
It seemed like, Coach, as well. We talked about this a lot, but you got into the last couple of days of that tournament, and especially in the championship game, it seemed like the guys that had some experience, the sophomores for you, kind of really stepped up and helped carry you through there.
They really did. I thought Joe Williams played probably two of his best games of his career here at the last two games. I mean, he had 37, which is a school record now in the semifinals. And then the next night, offensively, he only had 11, but he had to guard possibly one of the best posts in the league, from Coastal, Peter Capan. And he did an unbelievable job holding them to 6 points. And, he really just stepped up, and did pretty much a little bit of both, defensive and offensive for us. And then Terrence Chapman and Rashard Lofton probably had two of their best games during the year, and then Rico and Josh had stayed pretty consistent for us.
Coach, when you get into that situation, do you just kind of see those guys rise to the occasion, or is it just something that's the way they've played all year long? That's what you should expect from them.
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I felt like Rico and Josh didn't necessarily do anything out of the ordinary, but they did what they had done for us all year, which was a lot. But I did feel like you saw a couple of guys, step their game up even more and their concentration up even more, such as Joe and Richard. I mean, they looked more seasoned than they had during the season. And I don't know if it was, the 30 games finally got them over the hump, or if it was because of the importance of the game, maybe a little bit of both.
Well, Coach, I thought just from looking at it from this standpoint, I thought your guys from the semifinals to the finals handled the final 3 minutes much better in the finals than you did against Metro.
Well, I don't know if we could handle it any worse. Really didn't even enjoy the win against Metro because of that. We did a very bad job in the last 3 minutes and definitely in the last minute, and really snuck away. Had the foot in the bear trap and got out just in the nick of time to win that game. And I was sick that whole night because I just felt like we didn't even really deserve to win that game. And then for them to come back the next night, free throws have kind of been our Achilles heel all year, and we hit some big ones down the stretch with Coastal fouling us, and we didn't turn it over late like we did against Metro. And that was the difference in that game. I think if we would have done any of the things we did against Metro against Coastal, we wouldn't have won. Because Coastal's not that Metro isn't, but Coastal is so good about capitalizing on turnovers.
Corey Baldwin, Waycross College Swamp Fox head coach, joining us here on the Afternoon Blitz. Well, Coach, now what? You're kind of in uncharted territory for your program here, getting ready to go to Hutch. What do you say at this point?
Well, we had a meeting this morning, and now your focus goes to all the logistics of getting out there and how you're going to go, and travel is different. Now you're going not just out of state, but into another part of the country, and you're going through all those things. But as far as what do we focus on now, I think, we took Sunday and just enjoyed it, and sat back and reflected a little bit. But now you got to, clock back in. We'll practice today and start working to hopefully, have a chance. We open with Wabash Valley, which is in Illinois, and they're number 10 in the country right now. And they have two guys that already signed Division I early and good players. So, we got to turn our focus to them now.
And I would imagine part of the logistics has also been trying to find any kind of tape you can on those guys.
Oh, man, that's the crazy part. I don't think people who are even, educated sports fans, guys who really get into it, know a lot about it, I don't even think they realize how hard it is each level you go down to get information on other teams. If this was North Carolina playing UCLA, they just go to, some ESPN package and get all the games they played this year on TV. For us, it's calling everybody in the state of Illinois or that knows anybody in Illinois and trying to just find out information from anywhere and everywhere.
Well, we'll tell folks about it. Obviously, Waycross fans, this is their first time going through it in terms of the national tournament. I understand you guys will, at the very least, you have 2 games you're going to play out there at the very least.
Yeah, I think it's real neat the way they do it. 16 teams go, and what they do is you play 2 games for sure. But once you lose, you can't win the tournament. But they have what they call consolation brackets where you play for placement. So if you were to lose that first day, the most you could get is 3 games. But if you lost your first 2, you're done. If you win the first day, you could get the 3 games. If you win the first 2 days, you're guaranteed 4 games. And then, of course, the more you win, the more chance you have to seed high, finish higher placement. But just like any other tournament, if it's 4 games with 16 teams. So if you win 4 in a row, you win it. There's no playing somebody twice or anything like that. So that's the ultimate goal we have. But right now we're just going to try to handle Wabash and Valley and see kind of how that goes.
And I know that's coming up, I believe, the 15th at 12 noon, your tip. Is that right, Coach?
Correct. And the games will be on tsblive.com, and they'll be broadcasting them live that day. So all you people out there that can't make it out to Kansas or whatever, if while you're at work getting a little lunch, you can pull it up and pull us through.
Absolutely. Coach, finally wanted to ask you about, we talked about the fan support you've gotten. Talk about what this does for the growth of the program. As you mentioned, still a 2-year program, still trying to get the Waycross name out there in terms of statewide recruiting and things of that nature. Now, I guess it just becomes that much easier. You can sell the fact that, hey, we've won a conference championship.
Well, I think anytime in recruiting, you're always selling what it could be, and if you come here, here's what we could do, here's what we could do. But anytime you can say this is what it is, your recruitment gets a lot easier. So for us, instead of selling now, hey, we really think we can compete nationally, we really think we can win our league, this, and this. Now we just say, hey, we played in the national tournament, we won our league conference tournament, and it makes it a little easier. I think guys' ears open up a little quicker when they hear those kind of things.
Yeah, and I know you probably hadn't had time to get better, but I would imagine it's going to be well received when it comes time for recruiting once again. Coach, again, congratulations! An excellent ball game for you guys on Saturday night, and I know a lot of folks in Waycross and all across Southeast Georgia are very excited for you, and we'll be pulling for you guys next Tuesday.
All right, I appreciate it, and thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks, Coach. Coach Corey Baldwin, Swamp Foxes of Waycross College.